Paul, brother. Dude, fuck
Tito.
you.
Perfect.
Coming to you live from the basement of an abandoned training facility where we talk about fighting, training, and events. It's the Fight Mixer Show, where you can hear about all the local and world combat sports happenings. Get ready. It's time to gear up and square up because we're going live on the Fight Mixer Show.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to a wonderful edition, a special edition of Fight Mixer.
Gentlemen.
And we're here with four-time world champion, the legend himself, Mr. Gabe, alongside Matt, the producer. Gabe, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. I'm I didn't get as much sleep as some people last night, but I'm doing pretty good.
And of course, we're talking about how Tito Ortiz's boxing ability is the second worst thing to happen on 9/11.
Oof.
That was bad.
Oh boy. So yeah, I don't watch a lot of fights. But last night I decided to tune in and watch the atrocity, which is Triller. Holy snapple. Oof.
It proves that, watching a car crash is interesting, but still a fucking car crash. It's like watching an abortion, I guess, happen before your eyes. It's like,
Do I really want to watch this? Oh, I'm going to watch it. Oh, God. Oh, I feel so dirty. Yeah. Yeah.
And we start off. I'll continue. I'm sorry.
No. Please.
No. Please. We have so much to talk about, Gabe. I want to hear your expert analysis on the subject.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, I even put this on my social media because when it first happened, I said I could watch Tito get knocked out 1,000 times and it wouldn't be enough. And then I sat there the fighter me was like, man, he went in there, he fought, he was doing, and he was the first light heavyweight champion. I got to give him some respect. And then I thought about it more and more, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck that guy. He doesn't deserve any respect. He's always been a prick. He's always like just a genuine shithead. So you know what? I watched it another 15 times today.
and that knockout. Oh man, and Tito Ortiz. The biggest problem is and again, Gabe. You have to realize Gabe does not like Tito for reasons because he actually met Tito. I don't like Tito for a very, very fan reason where I grew up watching the sport. Tito Ortiz, when it was Chuck Liddell's time, delayed the inevitable of Chuck Liddell taking the mantle, taking the flame, and running to help evolve the sport. And he was delaying the inevitable. And, I asked Gabe over and over again, did Tito really duck Chuck Liddell? And unanimous, everybody I talked to, Tito Ortiz absolutely ducked Chuck Liddell.
Without question.
Yeah.
Question. I mean, ducking is not, that is the least of my issues with Tito. Him being a complete arrogant prick. And my favorite part about it is he's only Tito because he's trying to pander to the Latino crowd. He's been Jacob his whole life. He throughout high school, everyone in Orange County knows him as Jacob because he didn't want to be Latin. He didn't want to have Mexican roots until it became beneficial for him. And that's exactly who the fuck that guy is.
I know a guy who knows a guy who met a guy named Tito. Good name for a frog.
I got to tell you, though, Anderson had a beautiful slip hook. Boom. Nice. I mean, just the timing was – it was weird. Tito came in with that rock'em sock'em, he watched old Vanderlei, that back and forth just in robotic hook stuff. What the hell are you doing? And then beautiful slip out hook. Boom.
Yeah.
Done, son.
He looked very like the mechanics weren't there. You could just tell. Maybe it's because he's older in age, but like you could just tell he was very uncomfortable in there. And he was like landing punches, and I think he couldn't believe he was landing punches. And Anderson Silva, if you ever watch Anderson Silva's career, he's doing data. So as soon as he's like, okay, Tito's got shit, bam, and just fucking lights out City. Tito was not getting up for that shit.
Well, you said you thought Tito was landing punches?
Yeah, Tito was landing punches, but not necessarily landing them. Anderson has a good.
Boxing is very, very. It's harder to gauge than it is for MMA because a lot of times in MMA, someone will block here and it'll land, and you're like, "Ooh, that was a hard shot," but you're not getting through. Tito landed fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Like really. I mean, he landed on the gloves, but he never got a clean shot. But regardless, in the end. All it took was one.
Yeah, and Chuck Liddell, it goes back to what Chuck Liddell said. Like, and this is where like Tito Ortiz really fucking started to really annoy me because like back in the day, all I cared about was like Kazushi Sakuraba was doing, and I had bigger fish to fry. I mean, I was concentrating on Sakuraba getting past Vanderlei Silva back in the day, so I had no concerns with Tito Ortiz. Like, yeah, he was a cunt and he was ducking Chuck Liddell, and it delayed UFC getting past the next level. And Chuck Liddell was going to be named mainstream, and everybody saw the writing on the wall that Chuck Liddell was going to be the poster boy. And as soon as he was the poster boy, he has that Mike Tyson type vibe. And I met Chuck Liddell, and I didn't even ask for a picture. All I did was thank him so much for like all he's done for the sport. And Chuck Liddell is just super cool. Him and Randy Couture were both the nicest guys I ever met, besides Mr. Gabe. But like besides that, like when Chuck Liddell, when he first fought Tito Ortiz, he's like, I cannot lose to Tito because if I lose, I'll never hear the end of it. When Tito ducked Chuck and said I had to do back surgery, I can't participate in the Ultimate Fighter, then Chuck Liddell steps in with Rich Franklin, and then Rich Franklin, of course, beats Chuck, and then Chuck retires. Heartbreaking. I hated seeing him get knocked out again, but like nevertheless. And then in Chuck Liddell's return fights Tito in Golden Boy, which everybody thought was a terrible idea. And I don't know who sanctioned that, but they deserve to be shot, killed, and maimed. And as soon as Tito beat an aging Chuck Liddell, who hasn't fought since 2010, fuck Tito, because he talked so much shit. And then fought Alberto Del Rio after, and he kept talking, signed up for Congress, and his crazy fucking shit that came out of his stupid mouth and spreading stupidity all over fucking the beautiful Huntington Beach area and to beautiful people and fucking spreading this nonsense, gets fired after 6 months, thank God. I'm so glad Anderson Silva was able to knock him the fuck out, and so he can finally shut the fuck up for a change, because he was so annoying. Like the volume on high, like Tito Ortiz was just that fucking annoying.
Well, I'll tell you, Tito is Tito's favorite fan, and him beating an aged, broken Chuck Liddell was sad, and I like honestly, you can't be that impressed. You know what? I was thinking about this earlier today. Is I'm very curious if Vitor feels that like he succeeded in something massive by destroying an old, broken Evander Holyfield. I hope not. I hope if anything, I hope he kind of feels bad for himself, because the reality is like that. Like, did he win the fight? Of course, but like fighting a 58-year-old broken man is not the same thing as fighting someone in their prime. And Chuck and Tito is a perfect example of that, where Chuck murked him twice, and then you fight him when he's old and broken, and like I'm sure for Tito that feels good, but how good can you really feel about that? You know what I mean? Like, oh wow, like you picked on someone who was weaker and you knew that was broken. They beaten you up before, but now that things have changed, I finally got a hold of it. Fuck you. And look, I give Tito credit for getting in there and still fighting, but it's also kind of sad. Like, let's use Evander as a perfect example. It's like because I've been going back and forth with a lot of people about that. Like, Evander's 58, and it's nice to know. Well, not nice, but there are fighters that are still out there trying to make money, because this is how they support themselves, and they realize that whether financially or whatever. And I also understand that you're always gonna have a fighter's heart. And I go back and forth feeling like, how dare the promoters allow this shit to happen to make money? But at the same time, it's like the fighters are making the decision to do it as well.
Yeah.
You know?
And you had conversations with Trilla, and I'm on the fence about people with Trilla, and especially putting a 58-year-old Evander Holyfield who should be retired and enjoying the fruits of his labor, considering Evander Holyfield has had such a great career. There should be no reason why he should fight. He's one of the American legends of boxing. But the fact is, boxers, they blow their money. Mike Tyson went bankrupt twice, blew over 60 million because of, I blame Robin Gibbons and Don King, but there should be no reason why Evander Holyfield is still stepping in the fucking ring. And the fact that Vitor Belfort is still stepping in the ring. I mean, the first time I saw Vitor Belfort, he fought Randy Couture in the 90s. And I saw him fight Vanderlei Silva. That's he started off in the game young, but there should be no reason why. And I have all the respect in the world to Vitor Belfort. I would never, ever say a bad word about Vitor Belfort, but there should be absolutely, positively no reason why these great these legends, Brazilian fighters, American legends, I don't care. Anderson Silva he breaks the matrix because Anderson Silva is a fucking goat, so he can do whatever he wants. I would never tell. But there should be no reason why they should be stepping in the ring. No reason whatsoever.
Well, I mean, it comes down to, I think a big part of it is the financial side of it. Evander has 11 kids with 6 women. I looked it up. That's a lot of child support. 11 kids is a lot, man. I have 2, and I can't imagine if I added another 9 to the collection.
How much women did Evander Holyfield beg? All of them.
Pretty much. Well, but so I hate to say it is it's difficult when you make a substantial amount of money, and this happens with all pro athletes, and it's very, very common. You can look at the NFL, you can look at MLB. You have this massive amount of you're given a good amount of money for the time period you're in. And I mean, Evander Holyfield was probably making millions at the height of his career. I'm sure Tito's driving a Bentley and had a house in Big Bear, had the house in Huntington Beach, was had a boat, was living well past his means. Maybe his means in that time frame, but then you drop off, and all that money that you were making doesn't come anymore, and you're still spending money the way you had it before, and you're like, oh shit, I've got bills to pay, I've got things to take care of. What can I do? And then you're like, okay, well, I can still fight. I still have name recognition to where I can fight and make some money. And I would be lying if I said that you don't stop having a fighter spirit. As much as I think Tito's a douchebag, I still think he's a fighter. I still think that he has a fighter's mentality. Now, admittedly, it's a narcissistic douchey mentality, but regardless, he goes in there and he fights. And it's tough. What are you going to do? And let's be honest, Tito's not as much of as big as that head is. There's not a lot of brains in there. And what has he done? He had punishment clothing, which has failed. He did punishment athletics, which has failed. He tried to do acting, and if you ever really want to laugh hard, do yourself a favor and jump on YouTube for Tito Ortiz acting. Rough. So I mean, he could have done other things and put money into different things, but it's tough, man. When you were getting paid a certain amount, and that certain amount doesn't come, you're still spending the same amount. Rough times.
When Tito Ortiz ducked Chuck, he was like, well, I have all these acting commitments and everything like that, and got in the ring after he beat Ken Shamrock. It was November 2002 at UFC Vendetta. And Tito was like, yeah, well, I want to, and by the way, months before that, June 2002 on the Best Damn Sports Show, period, on Fox, where that was the first nationally televised, MMA fight, finally reintroducing, UFC finally got back on a network television with the Best Damn Sports Show, where Vitor Belfort actually fought Chuck Liddell, and Chuck Liddell won. Tito Ortiz got in the cage and said, well, I guess me and Chuck are next, and I have to give him a beating, but all this, blah, 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 blah. Fuck that. Fuck him. So, and then November 2002, Tito Ortiz was on the microphone saying, well, I don't want to fight my friend, and we have to do it for big money, and I have movie commitments, and yada, yada, and all the forums blew up and said Tito Ortiz is a bitch and everything. But then Tito Ortiz said, oh, my movie career, I have all these, and I remember going down to LBI with my friend Tommy that summer or 2 summers after that, and then I didn't know what acting career he had until I looked on the shelf, and I saw a VHS tape of The Crow 3 with Tito Ortiz in it. I'm like, I look over at my friend Tommy, I'm like, This is how he delayed fucking Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz because of this shit. This is garbage. Like bullshit. He never had a career.
He did a movie in Croatia or something like that. It's out there, and oh god, is it atrocious? It's some action movie in Croatia or something. It's really, really bad. But I mean, give it a shot. You know.
If Steven Seagal can do it, why not? Why not give it a shot?
Well, Steven Seagal's had a full career, and I'll be honest. As much as I hate it now, when I was a kid, I thought he was the baddest man on the planet.
Hey, don't talk shit about Steven Seagal, okay? He's the reason why Anderson Silva won all those fights. So don't talk shit about Steven Seagal.
I can't argue that.
I was talking more about the acting than Steven Seagal.
Oh my god. Steven Seagal showed up at the UFC training center one time when Daniel Cormier was fighting John Jones in 2014. And Steven Seagal is like, I'm going to show Daniel Cormier some things, but everyone has to clear the room. And Daniel Cormier is like, okay, we'll dim them out. And Steven Seagal is like, and you have to lower all the footage. Don't tape any of it. Don't tape anything. And Daniel Cormier is like, okay, you weirdo. Okay, guys, leave the room. And I knew at that moment John Jones was going to beat Daniel Cormier. And I love Daniel Cormier. He's on the podcast. I love Daniel Cormier, but fuck, man. If you're taking advice from Steven Seagal, holy shit, you're in trouble.
Come on, man. Listen, if Steven Seagal or even Jean-Claude Van Damme are going to teach you something, you're going to sit and, like, regardless of how fucking hokey it is, you're going to sit and listen. Like, it's just like, it's like your old uncle is like, I was special forces. I'm going to teach you a move that could kill anybody. You're going to listen to him. He's full of shit, but you're going to listen to him,
What about, and we're talking about this offline, whether your political opinion is, it doesn't matter, but we can all agree as Americans that Donald Trump is, and coming from a commentator, Donald Trump is the worst commentator in the history of commentating.
I disagree. I think he was the best. He was the best and hated the biggest.
Believe me. I'm saying it, so believe me.
Buzzword, tremendous, awesome, great, super. Like, fuck you. You're the worst commentator ever.
It was really, really bad. It was painfully bad. And I think the worst part about it was that Dos Santos was sitting there, like, in his butt, like, you're the best. Oh, God, you know everything about boxing. Oh, you know so much. And I was like, come on, man. Come on. Like,
how's the weather up there in Donald Trump's hard butthole?
You know what? Again, all politics aside, it was really, really bad. It was was
it really, really, really the worst?
Yeah. Believe me, it was the worst ever. I've
had doctors telling me it wasn't the worst.
Triller as a whole, and this I was asked earlier, is what was my favorite part of Triller? My personal the thing that I found the best about Triller was that I got to turn it off. Like that, I was just like, you know what, I'm done. Like the fact, like genuinely, like I don't know what they're trying to do with their really poor musical acts and ancient boxers. And
I didn't watch it. Was it like the last one where it was like over and over, more and more rap?
Yeah, like they had this not kid that came out here, and he had like the bowl cut, and then they were talking about like a rap battle between. I thought Big Fat Joe died, but apparently he's doing a rap battle versus Ja Rule. I mean, I thought Ja Rule died too, at least career-wise.
Didn't he die in that fire festival? I thought he died in that island. That's
the last I heard of Ja. But and then they had 50 Cent, who's like really out of shape, and like he's commentating. You're like, what the fuck is what like 50 Cent doesn't know shit about shit. He doesn't know shit about music. Like, what the fuck is he commentating a boxing match with MMA guys? Like, it's not even a boxing match with boxers. It's like MMA guys. You're like, fuck out of here. Then they have Mario Lopez. What the fuck is Mario Lopez doing there?
Don't talk shit about Slater, sir. Watch your tongue. Watch your tongue, sir.
I'm just saying, like you know what it felt like? It felt like, let's try to throw everything together and just see if it fucking works. Like, there didn't feel like there was any, like, the best part. Oh, they were doing interviews. The guys are they have them already lined up to go into fight, and they're like, let's have an interview with them as they're staged to walk down.
Oh my god!
what kind of fucking moron was like, this is gonna be a good idea? No, check it out. Listen to me. This everyone does interviews after the fight. Let's do it before the fight, right before the fight.
Didn't you talk to like Trilla management or like the president of Trilla or somebody? Like somebody was going to come on the show like that was involved with Trilla.
I actually I was getting sushi close to Kaiju MMA and Fitness in beautiful Tarzana, California. Beautiful. And so I go to the sushi place very, very often, and the owner is a friend of mine, and he goes, "Hey, this is I can't think of the guy's name for the life of me, but he's the matchmaker for Triller, and this is before that it was already going to be Vitor versus De La Hoya, and my friend knows how much I despise Tito and how much I really like Anderson.
Everybody.
And he goes, tell Gabe what fight you guys are working on. And this is before it was a done deal. And we didn't say anything because it wasn't our place to say. And he goes, we're going to do Anderson versus Tito in boxing. And I just started laughing. I'm like, you want Tito to die? I mean, I'll watch it. Don't get me wrong. If you want him to die, I'll watch it. 100% you'll get my money. Yeah, so I met the matchmaker, and he said he was going to come on, and he actually wanted the president to come on. I gave him my business card, but he might come on, he may not. Who knows?
And I am, and usually I do fluff pieces because I have such a respect for everybody that fights, and and again, I grew up watching this, so when Gabe was going to be we're going to be co-hosting with Gabe, I'm like, holy shit, I don't even deserve to be on the same platform as Gabe. So I'm a pro fighter, and I have such a huge respect for fighting and fighters, and Trilla is. I do fluff pieces, but in the back of my mind, that was going to be the one interview. If they come on, I'm going to ask them, what the fuck? There's so many things I adamantly disagree with, especially as from a business standpoint. Did they ever box? Did they ever do combat sports? Did they ever put themselves through the grinder? Are they just is this just a cash grab? Are we trying to get fucking Evander Holyfield killed? It's a very
So I've lived in LA for since 2003, the LA area, and I've been involved. And the thing is, everything Hollywood, everyone is based around entertainment, and it feels like they're entertainment guys. And entertainment guys are like, let's do something, and let's put all this stuff together, and look, yeah, all you do is look at all the garbage movies that are out there, and you're gonna be like, dude, someone pitched this, and a bunch of guys are like, fuck it, let's see what happens. And that is Hollywood as a whole, and that's I think what Triller is a bunch of entertainment guys that are like, listen, you know what's really hot right now? MMA is hot. What if we brought music, MMA fighters, and made them box? Holy shit, what an idea. And you know what? We'll get celebrities, and everyone loves celebrities, and everyone likes smoke machines, and everyone likes crappy music. Let's put it all together and see what the fuck happens. That's what I think Triller is.
From a business standpoint, though, a couple of things are wrong with that. Number one, the audience that they're going towards are the teenage demographic, the teenage demographic are used to getting everything for free, instant gratification. I post a picture, I'm going to get 1 million likes. I want a song, I can download it for free. I can, free. The reason why Trilla is going to go out of business soon is because the demographic they're going after is a younger demographic. So I guess they were like, okay, fuck it. Let's just get all these old school guys for nostalgia purposes. And I'm not going to bag on them because I loved when Mike Tyson came back, because Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was my first video game, and I love Mike Tyson. I couldn't get enough of Mike Tyson as a kid. When he lost against Buster Douglas, I fucking cried, and I was 4 or 5? I was young, but I love Mike Tyson. So when he came back, God bless him for bringing back Mike Tyson. But you're gonna burn out all candles. Number two, us as fighters, we're watching this and we're seeing Justin Bieber perform, and we're seeing all these celebrities, and I think MMA has evolved to the point where fans are now educating themselves, and they're going to schools like Kaiju MMA and Fitness, and they're educating themselves about the beauty of the sport. So now that educated fan base that took the time to educate themselves on why they like MMA are going to be like, well, this is fucking bullshit because this is stupid. Why are you going to mix all these things together? So you're going to burn out that candle for musical acts. And the people that like musical acts but don't really necessarily know boxing, they're going to see this, their first introduction of boxing, and they're going to say, wow, shit, Grandpa is fighting Grandpa too, and it's just a mess of just old people. So is this boxing now? Fuck boxing. And they're going to turn off the TV. Like, that's number two.
Yeah,
Number,
I think it's a little bit like, people like fudge, and people like steak, and people like puppies, but you don't put them all in a blender.
Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. That happens to be my secret protein that I get from Dranger. As a matter of fact, all Dranger protein has puppies and steak in it. Pretty well unknown fact.
And you don't cook steak. And you don't cook steak and serve it when the steak was cooked in 1987 and it was in its prime in 1987. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you see where I'm coming with this?
Well, so my one, I would agree with you a lot, but there are millions and millions of kids that think that Jake Paul is a legitimate badass and he's legitimately beaten MMA fighters, and in their weird delusional mind, that makes him the baddest man on the planet. There are a lot of kids that believe that shit. Now, not to mention he hasn't fought MMA once and he never will, but the fact that he's getting Ben Askren to put on gloves and beating him, and people are like, see, look it up, dude, he's a badass. Like,
I was at Universal Studios. I looked behind me and I seen somebody wearing a Jake Paul Mayweather shirt, and I'm like, no.
Oh my god!
I don't know anymore, David. I would think that like the Paul brothers, I thought that would both be irrelevant in no time, and I thought would disappear. But they're massive stars now. What the fuck do I know, man? Like, I was expecting, but yeah, I don't know.
According to some, they were massive stars before. But
it coincides. And I've done my investigating, and like Anthony Taylor, big friend of the show, big friend of mine. He fought on that card, and he fought valiantly against Tommy Fury. He lost by decision, but shout out to him, man. He's trained over with Jake Paul. What I like about Jake Paul is he is bringing up a valid opinion and a valid point that we've all complained about, me and Gabe especially, that fighters should be paid more. And I think Gabe should have been paid millions and millions of dollars for his efforts because
I don't know. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%.
But and he took care of my boy Anthony Taylor. He got him on the stage and everything like that. He hooked him up and he donated to UFC fighters and everything like that. So Jake Paul, in that regards, I like Jake Paul. But boxing is only, they call it mixed martial arts because mixed martial arts is the total fighting package. Boxing is only one portion and one part that makes a complete fighter. Jake Paul did fight in MMA for his little podcast on YouTube, and he got his ass kicked. But besides the point, so it coincides, and I did my research. Back in 2017, Jake Paul got fired off the show in Disney. So Jake Paul got fired, and then during that time frame, it was Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather that was just announced. And that's still the biggest pay-per-view of all time. Number one is Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather. Number two is Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. So Jake Paul, I guarantee it, with his brother, saw this and said, holy shit, what if we can make this the super fight of MMA versus boxing, which is a stupid concept because boxing is only one part of MMA. It's only one style that makes a complete fighter, going back to what I was saying. And he saw this business formula. He's like, what if I can act like Conor McGregor, do the same shit, and fight all MMA fighters? Now, you got to figure, Tyron Woodley was, even though he boxed, Tyron Woodley mixed boxing and perfected boxing to work towards being a wrestler and work towards being a complete martial artist. Tyron Woodley going into boxing eliminates most of his weapons. Like, okay, I'm going to go into the pocket. I'm going to hit him with a right. I'm going to shoot for a takedown. I can keep someone out of the pocket and keep someone from engaging with me because people are scared of getting taken down by me. Like, Tyron Woodley made boxing to work for him to be a complete martial artist. You take away all of his martial arts and all of his knowledge and everything, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and everything like that. Tyron Woodley, that's why he couldn't steal the deal. That's why he couldn't finish Jake Paul. Like,
let's go off of a Khabib. Khabib outstruck Justin Gaethje because Gaethje's afraid of the takedown.
Right.
Him being afraid of the takedown, and Khabib wasn't throwing like crisp movement in kickboxing. At one point, I think he even threw a cross push kick at the same time. But because Gaethje's so afraid of the takedown, he's landing those. And so, yeah, 100%. Going back to your point, what made everyone so concerned about Woodley was he can shoot on me, and because he can shoot on me, then he can land those hard shots.
Right.
When you take away all the elements and break it down to just boxing, I'm sorry, like it's and it's silly. Like I've trained with enough pro boxers. If you kick them one time, they're like, whoa, you're not supposed to like it's the belt line and above.
Right.
Anything below, they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, because it's alien to them. It's silly, but look, I want to follow back, but the Paul brothers figured out, and they're making it work. Jake Paul was a Disney star.
Yeah, he was on Disney.
Was he really?
He started off with TikTok, and he was on TikTok doing stupid shit with his brother for attention, and then he got signed to be on this Disney show, and because he started like this. Like he started a team, and my girlfriend tried to explain this to me, but he started like a team, and like he had a house, and he started burning shit and burning down the neighborhood, and the police got involved. So Disney's like, oh, I don't want any part of that shit, and they literally fired him in 2017, 2016, 2017. So Jake Paul, obviously he's thinking, okay, what can I do for attention? And that's why Jake Paul, if you put Jake Paul side by side by Conor McGregor, Jake Paul is a carbon copy. He has literally stole the very organic business strategy of Conor McGregor, and he made it artificial to work towards him. Like, and that, you do the math.
He doesn't have a fun accent.
No.
The accent makes Conor fun. Like, I'm like, oh, look at funny, cute little guy. Oh, my arms. It's cute.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, seriously. I love that shit. That shit's, like he wouldn't be nearly as entertaining if he didn't have that cute little accent. It's adorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit's adorable. And then you got Jake Paul. Like I remember he stole Mayweather's hat. I got your hat. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Like
playground
shit,
son.
Oh my god,
playground shit.
Hey, but you know what? I'm talking about it, right? Like as much as we can complain and whine, the fact that we're talking about it means that all the shtick is working, and that makes me want to shoot myself in the foot. Like genuinely grab one of my guns and just bang.
Hey, don't say that on Facebook. You might have people show up your door.
And I might be banned again because I'm banned for another 30 days because during when Steve released that video of Blue's Clues, I put Steve doing gang signs, so I got banned from Facebook for hate speech. By the way,
you know what? I've been warned twice. I've never been banned from the book face yet.
I've had the FBI show up at my house for Facebook.
Oh, do you have a picture of that? Matt.
Yes, I do.
Matt wins.
I do.
Matt, you got to take a picture. Matt actually had FBI agents at his fucking house. Matt,
why? What did you put something about like killing the press?
No. When January 6th happened, I took a picture of me at the White House or at the Capitol months before. Like I took a picture. I took it.
You didn't have a show on January 6th. I remember talking to that day. You're like, on January 1st, I've got something I got to take care of. I'm going to be off. I'm going to be radio silent for a while. I remember you saying that.
No, so I went in front of Nancy Pelosi's office and was like, ugh, it's disgusting. Took that picture, and when it happened on January 6th, I could not resist the temptation to throw that picture up there. And so they came to check me out. I'm like, you realize you realize like this was a post that you could check was previously yet you still came to check me out.
What's that post?
Seems to be a complete waste, in my opinion, of taxpayer funds.
Well, let me tell you this. So I can't remember which fight it was, but I got a call that the IRS was going to come and they were going to. I owed back taxes, so I was going to fight for the UFC, and they're like, we're gonna hold your wages until you pay your back taxes. I'm just about to leave for the fight, and I'm like, so I called the IRS. I'm like, listen, I have all my tax stuff. I'm at the airport right now. I'll be back on Monday. And I will send everything in, and can you just not fuck with me financially until that point? And they're like, yeah, but like this is a serious deal, and so I go through everything. I get my paperwork. I call them on Monday. I did owe them money. Do you know how much I owed them?
How much?
$22.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
$22. And I'm thinking what this guy's salary is. He guaranteed makes over $22 an hour. Guaranteed. And I guarantee he put more than $22, more than an hour of work on my case. Fuck out of here, man. But, I mean, I didn't have the FBI come to my house, but maybe after this podcast, I might.
I just received late breaking news that the Patriots lost by 1 point, so I'll be right back. Okay, hold on, I'll be right back.
I don't know what that means. Are you a big Patriots fan?
I'm a big Patriots fan.
Apparently. Okay, well, I mean, hey. Did you have money on it?
My girlfriend did. $30.
Not too bad.
$30.
God damn it.
I don't know much about the footballs.
Fuck.
I don't watch football at all.
Yeah, I'm not a football guy. So, are there any other fights coming up that we'd like to talk about? Are we going to go all in on the Triller travesty?
I think we shit on. Is there anything else we can shit on Triller about besides the president of the United States commentating in probably the worst performance in?
I know you're wanting to come to a bare knuckle event in New York. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
Make me happy.
We have bare knuckle coming November 6th to beautiful New York City.
I want to go to a bare knuckle event.
You want to come?
Yeah.
They're having one in Arizona.
Oh yeah, when?
I'm not sure yet. I don't think it's been announced.
Can we get press passes?
The one in New York, I'm seriously doubting it because when they come to the big venues like that, like they're completely.
What big venue? They're Madison Square Garden.
Well, it's like Miami. When they went to Miami, it's all we got so many press people and nobody shows up. So.
Right. And why? I'll get. We'll talk, Matt, but we'll get pressers for. We'll cover BKFC in New York City. We'll do it.
Looks like we got our guy 4 General Zelda watching.
Oh, what's going on, brother?
Thanks for the comment.
That was the greatest comment ever. Just saying.
Pretty good. Yeah, no, I want to go to a bare knuckle fight. Do you know any idea who's going to be on the Arizona card? You can't bring that up yet.
I don't even know yet. I mean, it's further out than it's like. There's one in Montana that's happening.
I want to go to Montana.
Do you really?
I mean, I'd like to take a vacation to Montana, but yeah.
I mean, if you want to go to Montana, I'm sure I can get passes for that. So.
I can't imagine it's too difficult to get press passes in Montana. You guys get one newspaper in all of Montana. I don't think they even get internet in most of Montana.
I'm imagining that's probably correct, but probably have to have some sort of satellite.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So is there anything else to cover besides this entire episode was based around shitting on Tito Ortiz and me and Gabe just had a blast when that happened? Is there anything else bad we can say about Tito Ortiz before we wrap this up like a Christmas present?
There's a lot, but we don't have nearly enough time to just talk about that.
Oh, Lee Murray. So Lee Murray has access to his Facebook account, and he posted that shit rapid fire. And Lee Murray was the guy who fucking knocked out Tito in the back alley, which didn't happen. But, like, Lee Murray went fucking ham. Just everybody, all the MMA community, just let him fucking have him. Why would you talk to him? So Gabe actually trained with Anderson Silva. He trained with Anderson. And why would you talk shit to Anderson Silva? And I don't care if Anderson Silva is 60 years old. That's the one guy you will not talk shit about, and he will not let that slide. He's going to fuck you up. And, oh, my God, the MMA
He's a bad man. Especially, like, just striking. You're going to talk shit about the guy. Like, that's what he's really, really good at. You're going to go into a striking match with him? Poor
Anderson Silva trained with the Cuban national team. Him and the Nogueira brothers trained with the Cuban Olympic national team. And Anderson Silva, before this whole Trilla shit, he was an undefeated boxer. He was 2-0, I think. Wait, no, let me get validation on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, grab the old Google.
Yeah, I love Anderson Silva. Like, he's just one of my favorite fighters. And
you know what? I've known Anderson for many years, and he is a genuinely good guy and someone that I always root for. And I I've told you the bad boy for life story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize. He was 1-1. I'm sorry. He was 1-1 before he fought Julio. I'm sorry.
But still, me and Anderson and Silva, we're bad boys for life.
Bad boy for life.
That's more than enough for me.
So before we wrap this up like a Christmas present, is there any last thoughts and any last words? Oh, we got to bring up sponsors. The show is brought to you by the greatest MMA gym in history of history, Kaiju MMA and Fitness.
This guy.
If you want to train with a 4-time world champion and the original Big Dick Bandit, Gabe Ruliger, go to Tarzana, California to sign up for some classes to train with the 4-time world champion, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, the man himself, Kaiju MMA and Fitness. Dial 1-818-231-1119. Sign up for classes. And the first trial class is free, right? Right, Gabe?
100% true. Correct.
Fuck yeah.
But I appreciate that, David, and it means a lot. But I think we're a very, very good facility, and I'm very proud of the grouping that I have. But I think there are a lot of really, really good gyms out in the world. But I would put mine against any of them.
Fair enough. And Drake, what about the Steven Seagal episode? That's something that'll stain our reputation. Steven Seagal episode. What episode was that? Oh, what about doing a Steven Seagal episode?
I told you my Steven Seagal story, right?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. I can't. I said I'll leave that for another day. But just so you know, Anderson and I are friends, and when he fought Vitor, we shared a locker room together, and I got to sit in the locker room with Steven Seagal and put him in his place, which was so gratifying. Felt so good.
All right, we can't wrap it up yet. You got to bring it up. Come on, Gabe. Please.
No. We'll leave that for another episode.
Come on, Gabe. Come on, man.
I'll talk to you afterwards. It's not like you don't have my phone number. It's not like we can't talk. Look, this is what we call the build-up, right? Oh. So maybe in the next episode, maybe you'll get the Anderson Silva, or I'm sorry, the Steven Seagal story. Ooh.
Gabe. It just went from 6 to midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I can't wait. Holy shit. Things in the works.
Yeah.
Right.
Steven Seagal story next time. Boom.
Sweet. And also Gabe stories coming soon. We're going to be in a cartoon show, which the world's not ready for it.
There's some pretty good ones.
This is something the world didn't know they want, but they know that they need. We know that you need a Gabe cartoon show. So Gabe Stories, the cartoon show, is coming soon. And it's going to rock everybody's world.
I definitely have some good stories, but I think we're going to have to get some other stories as well. And I'd like to start by saying I'm 44, and this is all way early in my life. I'm not that man anymore. I don't do any of that nonsense anymore. I'm a family man, a business owner. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and they're my life. But I was a professional fighter, and I did a lot of nonsense. So
Also, the show is brought to you by Dranger Nutrition. If you want the best workout supplements in the game, go on DrangerNutrition.com and order some pre-workout protein. Go to DrangerNutrition.com and DopeChamp.com for some sweet THC supplements. Ooh, nice.
Just so you know, all Dranger protein is 20% puppy. highest grade puppy, and I would highly recommend if you want to get
FDA approved.
Fucking A, man. All right, all my bros and hoes in different area codes, we thank you so much for joining us. We have another show coming up at 8 p.m. We have another show coming up at 8 p.m., right, Matt?
Yeah, it's a recap of BKFC 21.
Ooh.
And I'm sure Matt is going to flip out. I'll probably hop on the show because I want to hear Matt's thoughts about the Josh Burns fight. But Gabe, always a pleasure. The man himself, one of my heroes growing up, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Gabe. Matt, signing off from the Fight Mixer. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Perfect.